Hi everyone. So I'm home from the hospital. Actually at my sister's house. It's my first day being home. What I can say is hospital home pain hits different and harder than hospital pain. Um, Definitely in a little bit more pain than I was when I was in the hospital, but the pain is manageable. I just been taking my meds, timely, so it doesn't lapse to where I feel the pain. But when I didn't take it, I definitely felt the pain for sure. So I got to remember to take it timely. I've been walking um, throughout the day. In the morning, I get up, I take a walk. The weather happened to be really good right now, so Um, that helps. The weather's real nice, so I'll take a walk up the street and can only walk but so far. Then the pain really start hitting me, and then I'll have to stop and walk back. So I can't walk too far because then it'll be a further walk back. So um, I've been doing that. I have to continue to walk um, throughout the day so I don't form blood clots. And it also helps me breathe and helps get rid of some of the gases in my stomach from the surgery. Um, Mentally, I'm okay. I do think about, what happened, and the fact that I only have one kidney, um, and having to go through the whole surgery. Um, but it's, I'm able to manage. I have my family here. Unfortunately, I'm not with someone in a relationship, so that sort of makes it harder too. You know, Honestly, it would have been nice if I would have had somebody, there to help me. But most of my life, I've always done things on my own, so this is nothing different. I'm sort of used to it, going through things on my own. I learned a long time ago. Um, you came in this world, you leave out. And you came in this world alone, you're gonna leave out alone. So, you can never expect anybody to truly be there for you. It is nice when they are, but if they're not, you still have to, carry on. You know, um, yeah, it's gonna be a recovery. I know I'll get better one day at a time. Um, yeah. Again, I want to thank, everybody's support and prayers, um, kind words, and things I've been getting from people. Um, I really appreciate it. I I really didn't think what I did was um, noticeable, as people mention. It's just something that I felt like I had to do. Um, I did it honestly without thinking twice, about it. Um, when I first thought to do it, agreed to do it, in my mind, it was, I guess, looked at it as, somebody taking the splinter out of my finger. But after looking at YouTube videos and things about the surgery and the process, I realized quickly that's not what it was. Um, but again, I wasn't scared to do it. I was a little nervous in a sense, and when it came close to the time to do it, the last day or two, I got a little. um, anxious for it to be over to know what I was going to expect because I had no idea what I was going to expect, um, what to expect. So yeah, um, but I'm really happy I did it. Um, I realize now after thinking about it and talking to my social worker and doctors and everything, um, I saved somebody's life, and I'm really happy about that. You know that I was able to do that, and then soon my best friend of 37 years, he'll be, he's on the list now. He got put on the list for me donating my kidney, but he'll be um, receiving a kidney as soon as possible. So, and he'll be receiving one from a living donor, which is a healthier kidney than a deceased donor. That's the difference too for him. So it's better for him because even being on the waiting list for 6 to 10 years, you pretty much get a kidney from a deceased donor when you're on the waiting list. And there's no guarantee that they even work or they have a short lifespan to work. Um, like I mentioned before, there's 100,000 people who need kidney transplants, and the waiting list is 6 to 10 years. Unfortunately, um, a lot of people don't make it to be able to receive a kidney. Um, that's the unfortunate part. Um, yeah, so I'm really happy that I was able to help someone, and I'll be able to help him in the near future. Well, thank you for listening, and if anybody ever have any questions about it or anything, um, feel free to um, ask me any type of comments or whatever. Um, I think I got a lot of negative comments from people I know about it. Some people I know, not everybody, but at times I got comments because they didn't really know about it, and I learned a lot. I have a caseworker, and him and I talked a lot throughout the process, and I got a lot of literature that I read, and I watched a lot of videos, so I was well informed before the surgery, and yeah, like one comment I got is, if I give my kidney away to somebody, is it, how do I know that they're going to give my friend a kidney? Well, it's an organization, um, a whole organization, and there's laws too. Um, so it's basically a contract that I signed that if I was to give my kidney away, that my friend would be put on the top of the list with a voucher, and it's a literal voucher, like I literally a voucher that I had to um, fill out, and it guarantees that he gets put on the top of the list. But yeah, that was one of the stereotypes that I got. Um, um, well, not even stereotypes, I guess. Comment that somebody I knew made. Um, yeah, but what I can say is, in all seriousness, I really feel like it's important for people to be more health conscious, and eat right or healthy. Exercise is very important. Walking, Going to the gym is very important, um, and not drinking, alcohol. And I'm not saying anything negative to people who drink because it's legal and everything, and of course, you know, um, it's people's choice to do, but definitely if anything in moderation. But that definitely affects your body drinking a lot. I've seen it destroy people in my family health wise, and I just knew too it wasn't for me. Um, yeah, so eating healthy, exercising is important, and also to smoking, of course. You know, even weed, or cigarettes, or anything that you put in your lungs, um, is very damaging to your body. People think that weed is it's from the earth, but honestly, you really need clean air to breathe. So, putting ash into your lungs is really not healthy, and again, I'm not judging people who do it. It's just the reality is, it's not healthy for you, you know. Um, People do it for different reasons, and again, I'm not judging, but I just always thought that, I need clean air to breathe. Like when I like fresh air, and I don't want to put anything other than fresh air into my lungs because it's very important. I grew up with people who do drink and smoke and say, "Oh, you have to go some way. Everybody has to go. You have to go some way." So that's the reason why they do what they do. But the reality is, if you're unlucky, you're gonna get sick, and you don't want to go out that way. You don't want to 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 die doing something that you like to do, being sick. You know, um, I've seen it. I've seen people suffer from, um, you know, corroded liver from drinking. I've seen people suffer from throat cancer from smoking. I've seen people suffer from lung disease from smoking. So I've seen that in my life, and I've learned from that, and um, it's really not good at all, because you really do suffer. Even being in the hospital on the ward I was in, um, the floor I was in, it was for people who had liver disease from drinking, and I would walk around the hospital and do my rounds for walking, and I would see them, in the bed calling out, screaming, and they were actually suffering. Um, and Yeah, so I only said that to say, and it's very serious to be health conscious and to consider your health, and know that, you can manage life without drinking. I have my whole life. Um, you know, my whole life I managed um, to live without drinking. Um, I've gotten comments to where people's like, "Oh, you need a drink because you were stressed or something like that," but I always thought, that's drinking is not going to take away my problem. It's not it's not going to solve my problem. It's not going to take it away. Um, same thing with weed. Um, I never needed to relax. Needed weed to relax because I can, I pray a lot. You know, um, I meditate. I think about the problems that I'm going through, or the issues. I'm sorry, that I'm going through. Some of these problems as issues, and it helps me resolve them. You know, um, that's how I always managed to get through whatever I was going through. Just taking time to think about the issues I was going through, and working hard to resolve them. And prayer definitely helps a lot. For whatever I was going through. I would definitely pray about it. But um, yeah, I never felt like I needed to take anything to help me get through life. Um, Prayer was definitely the one thing that helped me get through life, for anything that I was going through. Um, and also too, like I mentioned before about being different. You know, um, everybody and a lot of people say they're different. Oh, I'm different. I'm different. But they end up doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. So I never consider that to be different. If you're doing the same thing everybody else is doing, again, I would always say, to be different is to be different. You know, um, so that's pretty much all I have to say right now. Um, Sitting here on the porch is actually a nice day right now. It's real quiet. The sun is out, um, and starting to get a little bit of pain. So I'm going to cut this video short, and maybe soon I'll post another video just to let everyone know, how I'm feeling the next time. Okay. Thank you.